Feel like talking about Cities of Sigmar today? Oh yeah. Hi there, Chris here with another useless review for you all. Today we're having a look at the Battletome Cities of Sigmar for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. This brand new army, well, redesigned army, has a brand new Battletome, brand new models. This is the limited edition that comes in the Cities of Sigmar army box, as you may have already watched the unboxing of that, or vice versa. Either way, both videos are going up at the same time, so feel free to peruse and watch. And this one's probably going to be a little bit of length, as there is quite a bit here. It's a fairly dense book. It is a fairly large Battletome. It has got these beautiful, I don't know how well we can get this to show up on camera here, but it's got beautiful gilded edges on it, as well as a red nylon bookmark. It's a pretty book, and as far as Age of Sigmar books go, this is one of the prettier ones. It's even got the little gilded lettering up on the top. But yeah, so let's just dive right in. Now, I have been reading through this book. There is quite a bit here. There's quite a bit of lore, and I've mentioned in many videos in the past of how, you know, my Age of Sigmar understanding of the lore is fairly limited. And, you know, mainly because a lot of the times I'm mostly focused on Warhammer 40,000 side of things. But, you know, that's my own thing. I like Age of Sigmar, I like the universe, I like the fresh take on the classic elf, human, dwarf type of tropes, as it were, within fantasy. I do enjoy it. And with Cities of Sigmar, this one right off the hop feels a bit like, I hate to say it, but it feels a bit like Astra Militarum, in that regards that this is the common folk of the mortal realms, and they're all from the city-states, and they muster up a force, a Dawnbringer crusade, and they go out and they march and try to settle a new city or new area, what have you. And that's really what the Cities of Sigmar are all about. And within this book, it really kind of goes over how this one particular character has changed the way the Cities of Sigmar function. And basically it is their, you know, the forming of the castle lines and, you know, the Castalian formations and all of that. But anyway, yeah, so this one is a really interesting book. Just been really enjoying the lore out of this one. This realm belongs to us. No invasion this. Our endless march, no conquest driven by greed or malice. This is the light pushing back the darkness, and it can end only one way, in war. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? This is us taking back in which is ours. Once these foul lands were whole, some were paradise, and we, the blessed. Since the coming of the Dark Ones, they have ruined, corrupted, ravaged. Still we cede them not. We walked the path once. We fled or hid away, but with the tempest times changed. We have won allies to our side, storm-souled warriors sent from the heavens, stout Dwarden, swift elves, and stranger beings still. Now we fight back as one with fire, fury, and faith. Again, these guys sound kind of familiar, don't they? I'm going to periodically say that throughout this video. We heal the lands with toil, with pain, with blood. We slash and stab, gouge and tear, rip and bite, even if we march on broken limbs, even if the walls we raised are soon toppled, even if we sing our songs of war with slit throats, we will fight to the last. For the great wheel must turn if it grinds our bones to dust, even if our rendered flesh greases its axle, even if the river of blood stretches out beyond. Turn it shall, on and on, until one generation bleeds into the next. Again, pretty grim for, you know, Age of Sigmar. Age of Sigmar I've always kind of interpreted as, you know, this kind of fresher take on the fantasy, you know, the realms, you know, the humans, elves, dwarves, and all that. 40K is a similar thing as well. It's a play on, you know, humans, elves, dwarves, you know, all that kind of craziness. But yeah, this book, it feels very familiar. So anyway, the table of contents, Scions of the God King on page 4. And this book, a total is 160. Well, it's probably a little more 160 because I think it goes a little bit further. Oh, no, it does. 160. Ends right on, okay. Scions of the God King, page 4. Islands of Sanctity, page 8. to take the coin, page 10, into the wilds, the living fortress, the real work begins, up to page 16. Again, this is all about the lore and everything. Akshi, I never know how to pronounce that one. Akshi, the realm of fire. And that talks about the Hammer Hall, the Twin City, and the Strongholds of Flame. Gyron, the realm of life, the cities of the Jade Kingdoms, that's 26. Havens on the Edge is Lethis, Vindicarum, Excelsius, Settlers Gain, and Misthaven. And that's from 30 to 35. The Wheel Ever Turns, 36. The Forms of War, the Heraldry of the Five Cities, that's 40, 42. The Heavy Burden is 44, and that goes over the characters like Talia Vedra, the Sacred Cults of Sigmar, Commanders of the Free Guilds, the Collegiate Arcane, the Soldiery of the Free Guilds, the Elven Alliances, and Throngs of Iron and Hammer. And that's from 44 to 66. Then the Bringers of the Dawn. I think that's the Dawnbringers Crusade rules, I do believe. Possibly. Maybe? No, maybe not. Page 88 is the painting guide. Building Your Army, page 94. Allegiance abilities from 96. It goes over the battle traits, enhancements, command traits, artifacts of power, spell lores, prayer scriptures, and the free cities. That's up to 106. Path of Glory is 110. It goes over the quests, veteran abilities, territories, heroic upgrades, citizens of the realms, battle plan, await the coming dawn, and war scroll battalions. That's from 110 to 120. Match play rules are 122. The grand strategies, battle tactics, and core battalions. That's from 122 to 123. And then from 124 onward to 158, it is the War Scrolls. So half the book is War Scrolls. Oh, over half the book, I guess. For the War Scrolls, it goes over Talia Vedra, that's the lioness, that's the one on the Manticore. Pontifex Zenestra, Matriarch of the Great Wheel. Character's hilarious looking. The Flatulence, Free Guild Marshal on Griffin, Free Guild Marshal on Relic Envoy, Free Guild Cavalier Marshal, Alchemite Warforger, Battle Mage on Griffin, Battle Mage on Celestial Hurricanum, Battle Mage on Luminarch of Heish, Luminarch of Heish, Free Guild Command Corps, Free Guild Steel Helms, Free Guild Cavaliers, Free Guild Fusiliers, Fusil Major on Ogre Warhawk, Ironweld Great Cannon, Steam Tank Commander, Steam Tank, Welder Corp Hunters, Haskell Hexbane, Hexbane's Hunters, Galen Vendenst, Darlia Vendenst, Warden King, Rune Lord, Longbeards, Hammerers, Iron Drakes, Iron Breakers, Cogsmith, Gyrocopters, Gyro Bomber, Sorceress on a Black Dragon, Sorceress, Blackguard, Bleak Swords, Executioners, Dark Shards, Dread Spears, Dreadlord on Black Dragon, War Hydra, Drakespawn Chariots, Drakespawn Knights, Dark Riders, Assassin, Black Ark Fleetmaster, Black Ark Corsairs, Scourge Runner Chariots, and Charybdis. And then Pitch Battle Profiles is 159 and Allies is 160. A lot to go over in this book. A lot of the lore I've already gone through. Scions of the God King, going over, basically, Sigmar going through and, claiming the realms and everything like that. And then, of course, planting all these humans, and then goes over, like, basically it is kind of like, it has its parallel in the 41st millennium that, like the humans of the cities view the Stormcast in awe, right? They're touched by Sigmar, and, these are, the God King's warriors kind of thing. And whereas, the cities of Sigmar, they're just the common folk, and they're just, out there toiling, doing their thing, doing what people do. And, they take up the coin, and, they join the forces and get sent off. And of course, it has a lot of these kind of colonial type of ideas behind it, them going out into the wilds and settling and having to fight off hordes of orcs and things of that nature. The lore is really, really fun. I enjoyed it. And I have a lot of fun with the maps and everything like that, looking over where things are supposed to be. And, now the thing is that most maps usually have a scale for distance. And I don't really see that here. So is there distance? I don't know. Hammer Hall, the Twin City. Yeah, these pages, they're not sticking together. It's just they're still crispy. It talks about all the different cities, gives you a basic gist of what each of the cities' cultures are kind of like and everything like that. Because cities are in different realms, you know, different cities have different, you know, different cultures. And, you know, some of them are closer to the elves, some of them are closer to the dwarves, some of them are just the humans on their own, some of them are, you know, kind of criminal-like, some are, you know, kind of high-minded, some are hanging out with the Realm Lords, Lumineth Realm Lords, you know, all sorts of stuff. It is really, really interesting. I highly recommend giving the lore a good read, especially for those of you who are looking to, you know, get into the Cities of Sigmar. Yeah, give the lore a read. It'll give you a better understanding of what these armies are supposed to be all about. It gives you the ideas of the themes, and heck, it can even affect your color schemes, your conversions and army composition, the way you're going to play the army, all these things. The lore always, in my opinion, is paramount when getting into these kinds of games, because, you know, it's what drives the battle. It's all about, you know, like, why are these armies facing against each other? Why are all these guys picking up swords and muskets and shooting at each other, right? Heraldry of the Free Cities. This is page 42. Gives you a nice quick little rundown of each of the cities. I was thinking of doing my own kind of color scheme to demonstrate, you know, painting some of these models. I do like the color scheme for Vindicarum, and I also really like the Sutler's Gain as well. I like that blue and gold. And the other one is that teal and bone color. Of course, the Greywater Fastness, which is one that we see a lot in the book and as well as on the website, the yellow color scheme. Yeah, as well as the Hammer Hall Actia, I never know how to say that stuff. The Heavy Burden just gives you kind of an idea of, you know, what their gear is like. Then we page 47, we get over to Talia Vedra. Very, very interesting character. I really dig this character. I dig it. Yeah. The Sacred Cult of Sigmar, this Pontifex Zenestra, an interesting character. And I like the little bit of mystery they add to this character. Basically why you see the living person in the front of the seat and there's a corpse on the back. Yeah, it's interesting. I'll leave you to read that yourselves. Then we get into 52, we get into the commanders of the free guilds, and this goes over, you know, the lore for the Warforger, you know, the Whisper Duders, all those auxiliary type dudes. The Collegiate Arcane is the Warforger, Battle Mages, and then we get into the Soldiery of the Free Guilds, we get into Steel Helms, Cavaliers, and the Wilder Corp. Wilder Corp, I really enjoy the Wilder Corp. The models with the unit with all the doggies, love that. That's a fantastic looking unit. Yeah, they're really, really cool. Then we get into the Free Guild Corps, Fusel Major on Ogre Warhulk. There's just so much here. Free Guild Fusiliers, Ironweld Great Cannons. Then we get into the Elven Alliances, Order of the Serpentis, Throngs of Iron and Hammer, all talking about the Duarden, and a lot of the cities of Sigmar. It is a mix basically of most of them, right? Is humans, elves, and dwarves, and they're all kind of mixed. And yeah, it's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. The kind of idea that they're going for with these, rather than like in old Warhammer Fantasy where it was, you know, it was more Lord of the Rings, right? It was humans off in their own cities. It was the elves off into their own cities, you know, and dwarves in their mountains. And, you know what I mean? Everybody was kind of separate. Whereas with Cities of Sigmar, it introduces the idea that, you know, everybody who's a part of the same alliance, they all pretty much intermingle and, you know, hang out and, you know, trade and, you know, and of course, yeah, I mean, they're going to fight as well, but it's city life and it's the Mortal Realms. It's a dangerous place, right? The Mortal Realms is not somewhere where you're going to go vacation or anything like that. Well, some of the spots, I mean, some of the art makes it look kind of really pretty, like the floating mountains and stuff like that. That looks like great fun. By page 70, we get over to the Bringers of the Dawn. It looks like a big color guide thing, and then we get into all the gallery image. We take a look at Talia Vedra, the Manticore model. is just fantastic. Then we get into the Free Guild, Command, War Surgeon, Arc Knight, Soul Shepherd, Whisperblade, and the mascot Gargoylian. Gargoylians. Fun. It's just a fun word to say, Gargoylian. Who is he? He's a Gargoylian. Then we get into the color guides for all the different the different cities, the cities. Very, very cool. Lovely pictures, of course, especially within all these battle tomes that we've been, collecting over the years. That, it's always really great. It's inspiring, and just seeing all the different things. And then, of course, they really get you with these really lovely, 2-page layouts of big images and battles and things of that nature. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Again, so many great images. All these things are just so much fun. Yeah, Pontifex Zenestra. It's a cool model. It's a cool model. And, it gives me really strong vibes of, like, obviously, crusades, through Jerusalem, and, in the actual historical context of stuff. And, yeah, there's some, you can see the inspirations for a lot of these things, especially even like the armor and everything like that. Yeah, it's really interesting. But yeah, again, I mean, for everybody out there who wants to get into Age of Sigmar and battling it out in the mortal realms, yeah, Cities of Sigmar really is kind of that grounding kind of force, because everything else that I've seen in Age of Sigmar has been fantastical, right? Monsters and magic and, these big beasts and all these scary things. And there hasn't really been anything to ground us as far as, the viewer, as the watcher, the viewer of all this carnage and everything like that that's going on in this universe. And it's finally here that we're finally getting that grounding, that we could be part of the Cities of Sigmar, a regular person, right? And this is the crap we're gonna have to go through to, exist in this crazy universe, right? So it's a lot of fun. And yeah, the Wilder Corp, yeah, they're great. I love all the doggos. I like the doggos. I'm a dog guy, so throwing that out there. So anyway, color guides, lots of pretty images. Man, there's just so much stuff. And again, whenever I'm going through these pages, especially on these big spreads, I'm always on the lookout for the terrain or for hidden models or for hidden things. Just sometimes, you catch something that's like, hey, wait a second, they don't have a model for that guy, or is that a conversion? Because they typically won't do that in these images, right? They typically don't do any conversions. It's all, by the numbers kind of thing that they're showcasing in these big, grandiose type of images. And so it's kind of fun, just kind of, with a fine-tooth comb to go through and see if you can find any hints and some spoilers, as it were. By page 88, we get into the painting guide, and the painting guide goes over the shields, gives us the Hammerhall Akrasha shield, Hammerhall Gyra shield, Greywater fastness, Settlers Gain, shields of other cities, and it goes through the steps, even right to laying the transfers down onto the shields. It also goes into painting the cloth of other cities, painting the metal variants, painting the leather variants, skin. We have, it looks like 4 different guides for painting skin, which is, really fantastic. And I like that we have this included right as one whole page just to demonstrate, the various ways. And for many people out there who are just getting into painting, this is super handy, because a lot of times, you get somebody, well, how do you paint really light skin? How do you paint really dark skin? How do you paint everything in between, right? This is a great place to get you going, because it goes light skinned, flushed, mid-tone, and dark. And that's it, you know what I mean? Like, that's all you need for these. And of course, you can also apply these to other factions as well, right? I mean, you can paint elves whatever color you like, dwarves whatever color you like. They're your models. You can paint them however you like, right? Then we get into the horses and cannons, fire, gargoylians. Am I saying that right? Gargoylians. Transfers gives you a quick little guide on applying the transfers. Always super handy. Building your army, choose your battle pack, contest of generals, path to glory, and pitched battles. Pitched battles being, you know, your general's handbook and all that. Pitched battles being obviously more like match play and, you know, tournament type play. Path to Glory is largely narrative. I don't know of anybody doing a Path to Glory that is any kind of bit of, you know, competitiveness at all. So anyway, choose your sub-faction. Now you have 11 different free cities to choose from to pick for your faction. Choose your units. Seems pretty straightforward. And then the finishing touches, battalions, and then your enhancements. And in the box has a whole bunch of cards for the enhancements, as well as all your war scrolls as well, as we saw in the unboxing. Allegiance abilities, battle traits, the free cities. You can pick one of the following sub-factions for your army. All Cities of Sigmar units in your army gain the keyword of the sub-faction you picked, and you can use the allegiance abilities for that sub-faction. If a unit already has a different sub-faction keyword on its war scroll, it cannot gain another one. This does not preclude you from including that unit in your army, but you cannot use the allegiance abilities for its sub-faction. So, and of course there are 11 sub-factions. Orders. Only through sheer grit and well-drilled discipline can the soldiers of the Cities of Sigmar overcome the horrors they face across the mortal realms. If you command a Cities of Sigmar army, you can give orders to friendly heroes. Orders are represented by order tokens. Each order token has two sides. One side shows the Cities of Sigmar faction icon. The other side shows the icon that corresponds to one of the orders on page 98, which is the next page. At the start of the battle round, after priority roll has been made, you can give one order to each friendly Cities of Sigmar hero on the battlefield. To do so, pick one of the orders on the pages and place the corresponding order token with the Cities of Sigmar icon face up. Beside the hero that has been given the order, no more than 3 friendly heroes can have the same order at the same time. Pretty handy. I think if they did that like it was, you know, you can only do one order at a time per unit and can't have the same order, that would suck. I think that would just be crap. Because, you know, in like, especially if you took like a bunch of cannons and a bunch of, you know, the Fusiliers, right? Like those, if you couldn't give them the stand and fire kind of order, you know, what would be the point, right? Orders marked Cities of Sigmar order can be given to any Cities of Sigmar hero. Those marked human order can only be given to human heroes. Those marked Dwarden order can only be given to Dwarden heroes. And those marked elf order can only be given to elf heroes. Makes sense, doesn't it? Orders remain secret until they are revealed. Each order will state when it can be revealed and how it is resolved. A friendly unit cannot be affected by the same order more than once in the same phase. At the end of the battle round, all orders are removed from play, including those were not revealed. The designers note, an order is not a command. Therefore, a hero that has been given an order or a unit that is affected by an order is not prevented from issuing and receiving commands. So there you go. Everybody out there is like, oh, it's going to affect my commands. No, not really. So there are 11 of these orders for the cities. Cities of Sigmar order, advanced information, countercharge. Those are kind of generic for pretty much anybody, whereas for the human, there are 3. Human order is return fire. You can reveal this order when the friendly unit within 3 inches of the hero with this order targeted by a shooting attack. If you do so after all the enemy units' shooting attacks have been resolved, pick one friendly Cities of Sigmar human unit that is more than 3 inches from all enemy units and within 3 inches of the hero with this order. This unit can immediately shoot. Very, very handy. Very, very handy, especially for this army, which is, you know, you're probably going to be bringing a lot of guns. Also, the other human order is suppressing fire and engage the foe. So humans get 3, Dwarden looks like 2, and the elves get 2. And the Dwarden order is form shield wall, grim last stand, very fitting for Dwarden, excuse me. Elf order is strike them down and swift disengage. That sounds very elf-like, right? What does swift disengage mean? The speed and discipline of the elves is unmatched. At a strident command, they withdraw from combat in good order, ready to reposition and assail their foes anew. You can reveal this order at the end of the combat phase. If you do so, pick one friendly Cities of Sigmar elf unit that is within 3 inches of the hero with this order, and is within 3 inches of enemy units, and is within 3 inches of any enemy units. Okay, yeah. That unit can immediately retreat. Very cool. Yeah. Again, pretty handy. And these are not commands. They're just orders. There's a distinction, believe me, there's a distinction. We get over into the enhancements, command traits. Sentinels of Order is the human general only. Divine Champion, the general becomes a priest if they're not already a priest. In addition, they know the Hammer of Sigmar prayer below, in addition to any other prayers they know. Hammer of Sigmar prayer is a prayer that has an answer value of 4 and a range of 12. If answered until the start of your next hero phase, add 1 to the wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by friendly Cities of Sigmar human units while they were wholly within range of the chanter. Grizzled Veteran, free guild only, wound rolls made for attacks that target this general only wound on an unmodified 4+. That's actually pretty darn cool. Especially if you're facing a lot of big beasties, or if you're facing, you know, gargants or anything like that. Oof, getting beat up by monsters. Master of Ballistics. If this general issues the all-out attack command to a friendly Castellan unit in the shooting phase, add 1 to the wound rolls for the attacks made with missile weapons by that unit in that phase. This effect is in addition to normal effect of all-out attack. Oof. And then Fiery Temper. You can reroll charge rolls for this general. In addition, if this general made a charge move in the same turn, you can reroll charge rolls for friendly Cities of Sigmar human units while they are wholly within 18 inches of this general. Oof. Lords of the Mountains, only for the Dwarden. There are 3 of them. Dreaded Leaders. This is the elf generals. For the Dwardens, it's of mighty lineage, insurmountable resilience, and Master of Ancient Lore. Master of Ancient Lore, this general becomes priest. If the general is already a priest, they know 1 additional prayer from the Rune Lore Prayer Scripture. Pretty cool. Dreaded Leaders, unparalleled duelist, secretive warlock, and draconic blood pact. And what does this do for, okay, so draconic blood pact, hero mounted on the black dragon only. At the start of the combat phase, you can say that this general will draw power from their draconic blood pack. If you do so, the general suffers 1 mortal wound that cannot be negated. However, until the end of that phase, add 1 to the attack characteristic of the weapons that this general's mount is armed with. That's pretty good. Artifacts of Power. Treasures of the Cities. It's for human heroes only, and you have Brazier of Holy Flame, Mastro Vivetti, Magnificent Macroscope, geez, say that 10 times fast. Shemtek's Grimoire, Sigmarite Warhammer, oh, they said it. Flask of Lethician Darkwater, and the Glimmering. What's the Glimmering? Once per phase, you can reroll 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll for an attack made by the bearer, or 1 save roll for an attack that targets the bearer. Okay, that's pretty cool. For the Dwarden, Ancestor Relics, Book of Grudges, Pile Driver Gauntlets, and Heavy Metal Ingot. What does Heavy Metal Ingot do for you? Ignore negative modifiers to save rolls for attacks that target the bearer if the bearer has not made a move in the same turn. All right. And for the Elves, exotic armaments, they have the Shadow Shroud Ring, Venom Fang Blade, and Anklet of Epiphany. Venom Fang Blade. That sounds fun. It kind of rolls off the tongue. Venom Fang Blade. No, messed it up. Anyway, pick 1 of the bear's melee weapons. If the unmodified wound roll for the attack made with this weapon is a 6, that attack causes D3 mortal wounds to the target in addition to any damage it inflicts. Additional mortal wounds. That's always a good thing, right? Spell Lores, Lore of the Collegiate Arcane. This is for human wizards, including unique units only. Fireball, Mystifying Miasma, Pall of Doom, Fuzz Protection, Fa or Foe? Rain of Jade, Transmutation of Lead, Twin-Tailed Comet, and Wild Form. What's Wild Form do for you? Wild Form is a spell that has a casting value of 7 and a range of 12. If successful cast, pick one friendly Cities of Sigmar human unit that is wholly within range and visible to the caster until the start of your next hero phase. You can attempt a charge with that unit as if it was within 18 inches of the enemy instead of 12. In addition, roll 3d6 instead of 2d6 for charge rolls made for that unit until the start of your next hero phase. Dang. They're moving. That's if you really need to get somebody across the field. When you absolutely positively need to kill your enemy across the table. Lore of Dark Sorcery. This is for elf wizards. It's Sap Strength, Umbral Hex, and Tenebral Blades. Umbral Hex. What's Umbral Hex? Is a spell that has a casting value of 6 and a range of 12. If successfully cast, pick one enemy unit within range visible to the caster until the start of your next hero phase. Each time a battle shock roll is made for that unit, 2d6 must be rolled instead of 1 dice. Oof. Rune lores for the Dwarden priests, including unique units only, including uniques. I can read. Rune of Unfaltering Aim, Rune of Oath and Steel, and Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Rune of Unfaltering Aim. What does that do? The Rune of Unfaltering Aim is a prayer that has an answer value of 3 and a range of 12. If answered, pick one friendly Cities of Sigmar Dwarden unit wholly within range and visible to the chanter. Add 1 to hit rolls for the attacks made with missile weapons by that unit until the start of the next hero phase. That's pretty cool. That's pretty darn handy if I say so. I imagine you could probably go full cannons on people, right, with this army? Then we get in to the army rules for the free cities. We got Hammerhall Aksha. Hammerhall, the twin-tailed city, is a shining embodiment of the civilization that spans either side of the Great Storm Rift Realm Gate. The Akshian side is populated by hot-blooded souls keen to drive back the taint of chaos from the Great Parch. The taint. Kick him in the taint. Ossifers are the Academy Marshal. Those who have been trained in the halls of the prestigious Academy Marshal in Hammerhall are said to be the best of the best, with honors, sir. When orders are being given to friendly Hammerhall Aksha unit, Aksha? I never know if I'm saying that one right. Heroes, one of those units can be given 2 orders instead of 1, but they must be different orders. That's actually pretty darn cool. The Magister of Hammerhall. Aventus Firestrike acts as Sigmar's voice upon the Grand Conclave of Hammerhall Aksha. If you command Hammerhall Aksha army that includes an allied Aventus Firestrike at the start of your hero phase, you receive 1 additional command point if that model is on the battlefield. Oof. That's pretty cool. Giving 2 orders instead of 1, that's very cool. That's very, very cool. Just one of the units though. It's just one. It's not like, you know, you can just hand this out to everybody. Tempest Eye, rapid redeploy seems to be their thing. And they like to hang out with the Caradon Overlords. So I guess if you have Caradon Overlords in your army, you can use this ability. Hallow Heart, wild magic. The reckless and maverick battle mages of Hallow Heart's Wildfire Court seek to control magic in its most potent form. When you attempt to cast a spell with friendly Hallow Heart wizard, you can say that they will harness wild magic. If you do so, roll 3 dice instead of 2 for that casting roll. However, on an unmodified roll of 10 plus, the caster suffers D3 mortal wounds after any effects of the spell have been resolved. You takes your chances. Hey, when you're messing with wild magic, man, you takes your chances. You takes your chances. Hammerhall Gyra, bounty of the Verdant City. The abundant resources of Hammerhall Gyra ensure its armies are always well supplied. When picking Hammerhall Gyra army, if the battle pack you are using has restrictions on the number of reinforced units you can include 1 additional Cities of Sigmar reinforced unit in your army. In addition, friendly Hammerhall Gyra human units have a bravery characteristic of 10 while they have 10 or more models. That's pretty darn cool. The Living City, known for their Viridian shield, the warriors of the Living City and their Sylvaneth allies are adept fighting amidst the green labyrinth of the ever-spring swath, launching well-planned ambushes before fading back into the trees. hunters of the hidden path. The warriors of the living city know the secret paths through the realms, which they skillfully navigate in order to set up ambushes for those who threaten them. During deployment, instead of setting up a living city unit or an allied Sylvaneth unit on the battlefield, you can place it to the side and say it has been set up in the hidden paths as a reserve unit. You can set up one unit in the hidden paths for each living city unit you have set up on the battlefield. At the end of your movement phase, you can set up one or more of these reserve units on the battlefield wholly within 6 inches of the edge of the battlefield and more than 9 from all enemy units. That's actually pretty cool. Wholly within of the battlefield, 6 inches of the battlefield. So you can come in even behind the person. That's got some possibilities there. Then we got the Greywater Fastness, Lithus, Vindicarum, Excelsius, Settler's Gain, and Misthaven. Misthaven is the one where they're basically all a bunch of pirates and criminals and, you know, scoundrels. It's a city of scoundrels. It's not the kind of city I'd vacation in, but whatever. Known as the City of Scoundrels, Misthaven is an infamous den of pirates and cutthroats, home of many scourge privateers, darkling covens, and warriors of the Order Serpentis. Their armies ride out massed in inky darkness to launch lightning raids upon unsuspecting foes. Shadowed approach, the warriors of Misthaven swiftly bear down upon their foes under cover of unnatural darkness. At the end of your hero phase, you can pick up to 3 friendly Misthaven units that are more than 12 inches from all enemy units. Each of those units can make a move up to D6, roll separately for each. If the unit has a mount, it can make a move up to 2d6 instead of d6. Units can finish this move within 3 inches of enemy units. That's very interesting. So yeah, there are a lot of the cities. It's 11 of them. Pick your flavor, pick your army. You know, like, whew, it's so darn cool. And I like that you got so many different options. I like that this is one army, but man, there's so many different ways you can play this, you know? That's really, really fantastic. Then we get into the Path to Glory. Following section includes rules for your Path to Glory campaign if you're using Cities of Sigmar army. Gives you all your campaign points. Your Path to Glory campaign tells the story of your army as they brave the chaos-tainted wilds beyond their parent city in an attempt to establish a new settlement. To begin with, your army is traveling through the wilderness. This means that they do not have any territories under their control and can only embark on quests on page 112. At the same time, after each battle, they will earn crusade points, suffer setbacks when defeated, and receive blessings when victorious. Once you have earned 25 crusade points, you can fight a final battle plan, and if you win, your crusade reaches its end, and you can establish your new settlement. That sounds pretty fun. It sounds pretty fun, doesn't it? I mean, like, you know, who doesn't want to, you know, like, this is a great opportunity to, you know, buy, like, if anybody who gets the army box, and, you know, while you're painting them up and getting them ready, you can play with some, you know, Path to Glory, and, you know, especially if you have other people in your gaming group who are, you know, setting up their own Cities of Sigmar or playing other factions, and, you know, Path to Glory, man, is like, I'm surprised that more and more people actually don't do more campaigning, because you can tell so many different stories. You can, you know, it's your opportunity to create your own thing. Everybody is always looking for a way to put their mark on the Warhammer universe or 40K universe, whatever. And narrative battles, narrative campaigns, these kinds of things are that opportunity to put your finger and your gaming group's finger on these narrative elements and tell your story and be a part of the universe, either the Mortal Realms or, you know, the 41st millennium, right? So we're on page 111, and we have all sorts of blessing tables, setbacks tables, founding your city, then your quests, veteran abilities. What kind of veteran abilities can we get? Expert marksman, yeah, that's to be expected. Unit armed with missile weapons only. This unit can use veteran ability once per battle while it is picked to shoot. If it does so, increase the range characteristic of that unit's missile weapons by 6 until the end of that phase. That's very handy. So for everybody out there, you know, playing some narrative games and want just a little bit more range, again, you know, it's the opportunity to tell a story. And, you know, for all of you gamers out there, many of you have memories. I'm sure many of you have memories of a really wild dice roll or a real wild moment where, you know, your hero was just doomed. He was just doomed. He was surrounded and they fought their way through unbelievable dice rolls, and you know what I mean? Like, and those are the moments where you go back and you sit with your friends in your gaming group and you guys giggle about the previous battles, your losses, your victories, you know? And again, Path to Glory, this is one of those ways of building memories that 20 years, 30 years from now, you'll be sitting around with your friends and going, I remember that time I made that roll. I rolled a 6, then I rolled another 6, and I charged, got in. It was a long shot, got the victory points. You know what I mean? Like, all that stuff, right? Again, narrative play is really where it's at, man. More people should be playing narratively. 116, Citizens of the Realms. And here's a fun one. This is a table with where you can basically generate your names. So Akshi, Gur, Gyron, Haish, Shaish, Ulgu, Shamon, Azur, Elves, and Duarden. Has all your names. Has all your names. And yeah, you basically make your heroes and your characters and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. Have all your Path to Glory missions. 118, Battle Plan, Await the Coming Dawn. Then you have your War Scroll battalions. We're getting into the War Scroll battalion rules. Is this still for the Path to Glory? Yeah, I think it's still for, this is still Path to Glory. The formation rules, it has a different set of rules here. War Scroll Battalion, Grudgebound Warthrong. What's that? That's for Duardens? Yeah, it's for Duarden. And then Thrall Warhost, and this is for your Dark Elves, yeah. Very, very cool. Then we get into 122, Matched Play. Grand Strategies, Tenets of War. Cities of Sigmar Army only. There are 4 of them. Exemplar of Academy Martial. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy. If you completed at least 4 battle tactics, and every battle tactic you completed, this battle was from the For Honor and Glory list below. Reclaim for Sigmar, hold the high ground, and banners held high. Then your battle tactics. At the start of your hero phase, you can pick one of these battle tactics below. You must reveal your choice to your opponent, and if your battle tactic instructs you to pick something, you must tell your opponent what you pick. You have until the end of that turn to complete this battle tactic. You cannot pick the same battle tactic more than once per battle. For Honor and Glory, Cities of Sigmar armies only. There are 6 of them. Bring full arms to bear, raise the banner, black powder bombardment, mount the charge, strike without warning, and iron might. What is black powder bombardment? You complete this battle tactic if 3 or more enemy units are destroyed in your shooting phase this turn. Yeah, that would be a black powder bombardment if you just smoked 3 units off the table. Core battalions. You can include any of the following core battalions in the Cities of Sigmar army if the battle pack you are using says you can use core battalions. The Castellite formation, and it looks like it's 3 Duders, Ogre Warhulk, and the cannon, and then there's a bunch of fists and swords. It's the Watchtower, battlements, and gate. Unified 1-drop deployment. Oh, okay, so it's all 1-drop deployment. Expert, Magnificent, Slayers, Tragus, and Swifts. So this is Slayers. Once per battle, 1 unit from the battalion can receive the all-out attack or unleash hell command without the command being issued and without a command point being spent. That's actually pretty darn cool. So you got a bunch of 3 little units plus the Warhawk with an optional one and the cannon. You drop this all as 1. They have Slayers once per battle. Yeah, that's pretty darn cool. That's pretty darn handy. Then we get on to 124 and we get into the Warscrolls. And of course the Warscrolls are also included in the box set as Warscrolls. It has everything that's in this book. I believe it's all in there. Talia Vedra is a 15 wound, 4 up save, 8 bravery. Weapon of office, 6 attacks, oof. Leonine Jaws and Scorpid Stinger, that's for the Manticore. 3 attacks and 2 attacks. Pretty decent. Has variable damage, affects the move characteristic, the jaw attack, and the stinger attack. War Master, if this unit is included in your Hammerhall Extra army, it is treated as a general, even if it is not the general picked to be the army's general. The mount, the unit's Manticore Infernadine, is armed with Leonine Jaws and Scorpid Stinger. This unit can fly, of course, because of the giant wings. Field Marshal has a 6-up ward save, leads from the front. While this unit is within 3 inches of any enemy units, this unit can issue the rally command to friendly Cities of Sigmar human units while they're within 3 inches of any enemy units. In addition, when it does so, you can return 1 slain model to the unit that receives the command for each 4+ instead of each 6. Pretty darn handy. Unparalleled Tactician. If this unit is included in the Cities of Sigmar army, when orders are being given to heroes, this unit can be given 2 orders instead of 1. Each order must be different. So that's basically like the Hammerhall actually command anyway, right? So that's pretty darn cool. Paralyzing Venom. You can carry out Paralyzing Venom Monstrous Rampage below with this unit instead of other Monstrous Rampage. You can carry out with this unit. So the Paralyzing Venom, very cool. What does Paralyzing Venom do? Pick 1 enemy monster that made a charge move this turn and is within 3 inches of this unit. Roll a die, and on a 3+, the Strike Last effect applies to the enemy monster until the end of the turn. Ooh, that's pretty handy. That's pretty darn handy. Give a big old monster a poke and slows them down a little bit. Then we get into the War Scroll, Pontifex Zenestra, 5-inch move, 9 wounds, 5-up save, 9 bravery. Scepter of the Wheel, it's only 1 attack. Yeah, this character is not for getting into combat. Crew, the unit's acolytes are armed with club and axe, not very handy. Voice of the God King. This unit can attempt to dispel 1 endless spell at the start of your hero phase and attempt to unbind 1 spell in the enemy hero phase in the same manner as a wizard. Add 1 to unbinding rolls made for this unit. Ooh, that's handy. Blessed Palanquin, this unit has a 4-up ward save. Vessel of Sigmar, the Vessel of Sigmar is a prayer with an answer value of 3. If answered, this unit is within and this unit is within your territory, pick 1 of the effects below to apply until the start of the next hero phase. If answered, and this unit is not within your territory, pick 2 of the effects below to apply until the start of your next hero phase instead of 1. So this wants you to get your forces moving forward, right? So of the abilities, it is Hallowed Command, the Great Wheel turns, and Cast Out Evil. And what does Hallowed Ground do? Friendly Cities of Sigmar human units have a ward save of 5+ while they're wholly within 18 inches of this unit. The Great Wheel turns, add 2 inches to the move characteristic of friendly humans, Cities of Sigmar human units on the battlefield. Cast Out Evil. Roll a d6 for each enemy wizard and priest on the battlefield. On a 2+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Oof, I like that one. That one's fun. That one's fun. So if you're really advanced into the force and you're fighting somebody who's got lots of wizards or priests, yeah, this character is the one you want to be messing with those characters. Wrath of Azure. At the start of the combat phase, after this unit fights, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of this unit. On a 2+, the unit being rolled for suffers d3 mortal wounds. Oof, you get hurt just by standing around this character. Like, not particularly tough, not fast at all, you know, but great support character, I would say. The Flagellants seem pretty straightforward. It's only got 2 attacks. You know, not particularly dangerous. 6-inch move, 1 wound each. Yeah, it's just a unit of these duders. The Free Guild Marshal. And this is the Free Guild Marshal on the Griffin. Sigmarit Rune Sword, Sigmarit Great Hammer, Free Guild Lance, Razor Claws, and Deadly Beak. Has a asterisk for the move. 15 wounds, 4-up save, 7 bravery. Variable profile for damage suffered. And a Free Guild Marshal, the mount, Griffin, is armed with Razor Claws and Deadly Beak. The unit can fly. Charging Lance. If this unit made a charge move in the same turn, add 1 damage characteristic to the Free Guild Lance and improve the rend characteristic of its Free Guild Lance by 1. Piercing Blood Roar. When you carry out the the roar monstrous rampage with this unit. You can pick 2 enemy units within 3 inches of it instead of 1. Oh, that's handy. That is handy. That's a real crowd pleaser type of ability there. And then tactical acumen. If this unit is included in the Cities of Sigmar army once per battle, when the orders are being given to heroes, this unit can be given 2 orders instead of 1. Each order must be different. You got your Free Guild Marshal, I don't know why I started busting to that accent, but Free Guild Marshal and Relic Envoy. They got dueling pistols. Melee weapons are Master Forge Longsword, Heirloom, Warhammer, and Silvered Short Sword. Movement 5. Seems to be pretty typical of humans. 5 wounds, 3 up save, 7 bravery. Pretty handy. Attack profiles, you know, it's hitting in 3s and 4s, you know. Good damage though. 3 up, 2 ups. Attendant Relic Envoy. At the start of your hero phase, you must choose for this unit's Relic Envoy to attend the Marshal or deliver a message to a nearby unit. If you choose for the Relic Envoy to attend the Marshal, you can carry out a heroic action with this unit in addition to any other unit you carry out a heroic action with. If you choose for the Relic Envoy to deliver a message to a nearby unit, pick 1 of other friendly Cities of Sigmar human unit wholly within 12 of this unit until the start of your next hero phase. The next time that unit receives a command point is not spent. That's very handy. That's very handy. Rousing speech. Once per battle, you can carry out the deliver a rousing speech heroic action below with this unit instead of any other heroic action you can carry out with it. Very cool. Heroic action, deliver rousing speech. Pick up to 3 friendly Cities of Sigmar human units wholly within 18 inches of this unit. For each unit picked, roll 2d6. If the score is less than or equal to the unit's bravery characteristic, until the end of that turn, the models in that unit count as 2 models for the purposes of contesting objectives. Very, very handy. Yeah, I can see a lot of free guild, just regular free guild marshals with this attendant here on the field. Free Guild Cavalier Marshal, 10-inch move, 7 wounds, 3 up save, 7 bravery. Dragoon Pistols, pretty decent. Master Forge Longsword, Steel Shod Hooves. Their mount, the Warhorse is armed with Steel Shod Hooves. For Sigmar Charge, when their finest hour heroic action is carried out with this unit, in addition to the normal effect until the end of the turn, add 3 to the charge rolls for this unit and friendly Free Guild Cavalier units that are wholly within 12 of this unit. That's very cool. That's a big space too. 12 inches around this character. Yeah, that's very cool. Run down the foe. The strike first effect applies to the unit if they made a charge move in the same turn in addition to the combat phase. If this unit made a charge move in the same turn after that unit has fought for the first time in the phase, you can pick 1 friendly Free Guild Cavalier unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit, and that has not yet fought in the phase. That unit can immediately fight. Pretty darn cool. The Alchemite Warforger has the Tong Staff, 5s, and 6 bravery. Can attempt to cast a spell. Runic Crucible. Start your hero phase, you can say this unit will either stoke or expend the power of the Runic Crucible. If this unit stokes the power of the Runic Crucible, add 1 to the casting rolls for this unit until the end of the phase. If it expends the power of its Runic Crucible, it cannot cast any spells this phase, but until the start of the next hero phase, add 1 save rolls for friendly Cities of Sigmar human units while they're wholly within 12 of this unit. That's pretty darn handy. Getting one up on your save? Yeah, that's pretty darn handy. Blazing Weapons. Blazing Weapon is a spell within a casting value of 7, range of 12. Successfully cast until the start of the next hero phase. Friendly Cities of Sigmar human units have Blazing Weapons while they're wholly within 12 inches of the unit. While a unit has Blazing Weapons, each unmodified roll of 6 for an attack made by a unit causes 1 mortal wound to the target in addition to any damage it inflicts. Yeah, I can see this guy being in every army. Yeah, this guy seems to be... he seems to be the wizard to have in the army. I mean, those abilities are just too darn good. War Scroll Battle Mage, and it seems to be pretty straightforward for Battle Mages. Battle Mage on Griffin. We got Battle Mage on Celestial Hurricanum. Celestial Hurricanum. Then we have the Battle Mage on Luminarch of Hysh. On Luminarch, okay? And then the Luminarch of Hysh, the multi-lens laser beam thing. Free Guild Command Corps. Yeah, these ones are very cool. This is the Sigmarite Great Weapon, Enchanted Rapier, Assorted Weapons, and Gargoylian Bite. This is the unit. It has the Free Guild Command Corps. This is Arch Knight, Whisper Blade, Great Herald, War Surgeon, and Soul Shepherd. And then the mascot Gargoylian. Gargoylian? Gargoylian? The Gargoylian Bite actually does a respectable amount of damage, and it's got decent. It's 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, damaging on 3s, -1 with D3. Man. Sawbones, Sound of Advance, Dispatch Spies, Tune of the Corpus Somni? Yeah, very, very cool. The Free Guild Steel Helms, this is your rank and file duders. They're movement 5, 1 wound, 4 up save, 5 bravery. Free Guild weapon, 2 attacks, hitting on 4, wounding on 4s, no rending, and 1 damage. They can have a champion. Sergeant Arms, add 1 to the attack characteristics of that model's melee weapons. Standard Bearer, 1 in every 10 models in the unit can be a Steel Helm Herald. Add 1 to the bravery characteristic of this unit while it includes any Steel Helm Heralds. Jeez. Having a hard time with these words. Battle Priest, 1 model in this unit can be the Battle Priest. Consecrate the land. At the end of your movement phase, if this unit includes a Battle Priest and is contesting an objective you control that is not contested by any enemy models, you can say that it is consecrate the land. You can say that it will consecrate the land. If you do so, roll a d6 on a 3+. The objective is considered by that objective is considered by you to be consecrated. Friendly Cities of Sigmar human units have a ward save of 6 while they are contesting a consecrated objective. If your opponent gains control of the consecrated objective, it is no longer consecrated. Hold the line. Each time the unit receives the all-out attack or all-out defense command, you can pick 1 other friendly unit with this ability that is wholly within 12 of this unit and has not received any commands this phase. That unit receives the same command as this unit and the sequence ends. Interesting. Very, very interesting. The Free Guild Cavaliers, 10-inch move, 2 wounds each, 3 up save, 7 bravery. They got the Cavalier weapons, Arch Knight Blade, and the Steel Shod Hooves. They are mounted. Champion has an additional, is armed with the Archblade instead of the Cavalier weapon. Standard Bearer, 1 in every 5 models in the unit can be the Cavalier Herald. Add 1 to the bravery characteristic of the unit while it includes a Cavalier Herald. Devastating Charge. If this unit made a charge move in the same turn, add 1 to the damage characteristic of the Cavalier weapons and improve the rend characteristic of its Cavalier weapons by 1. Hoof. That's pretty darn cool too. These guys are no joke. Free Guild Fusiliers, 5-inch move, 1 wound, 4 up save, 5 bravery. They have the Fusile Cannon, fortified position, Fusile Cannon mobile, brace of pistols, and bayonets. The Champion, and add 2 to the attack characteristics of the model. Alternatively, the model can be armed with a brace of pistols instead of Fusile Cannon. Standard Bearer, 1 in every 10. Add 1 to the bravery while you have any. Fusiliers Fire. Each time a model shoots with a Fusile Cannon, if its unit is in a fortified position, use the fortified position weapon characteristics. Otherwise, use the mobile weapon characteristics. Ah, okay. So if you're in a fortified position, you can shoot 24 inches. If you're mobile, you're only shooting 12. If you're in fortified position, you get 2 attacks. Mobile, 1. Same hit, same wound, -1, doing same damage. So it's just really range and a number of attacks. So it's better to be in a fortified position so you get further range and more attacks. Yeah. So basically you just want to castle up right away, right? Fortified position. At the start of the battle, the unit is in a fortified position. In addition, at the end of the movement phase, if this unit both remains stationary and was not set up in that phase, it can establish a fortified position. Once this unit is in a fortified position, it remains so until it moves or is removed from the battlefield. While this unit is in a fortified position, you can ignore negative modifiers to save rolls for attacks made with missile weapons that target it. Very, very handy. Resupply run. Once per battle at the start of your shooting phase in the third or subsequent battle rounds, you can say that this unit will be resupplied by its Black Powder Squire. If you do so, you can re-roll hit rolls for attacks made with missile weapons by this unit until the end of that phase. That's very handy. That's very, very handy. Then you get the Fusile Major on Ogre Warhulk. He's got the long fusile, and the Warhulk has a mace. 5-inch move, 8 wounds, 3 up save, 7 bravery. The unit's ogre is armed with a Warhulk mace. It's got the crack shot. If the unmodified hit roll of an attack made by the unit's long fusil is 6, you can say that the unit has attempted a crack shot. If you do so, the attack sequence ends after all the unit's attacks have been resolved. You can roll a die for each crack shot it attempted. For each roll that is at least double the target's unit's wound characteristic, pick one model from that unit to be slain. Rangefinder. At the start of your shooting phase, you can pick one friendly castle-like unit wholly within 12 inches of the unit and roll a dice. Until the end of the phase, the range characteristic of that unit's missile weapons is increased by the number of inches equal to the roll. The same unit cannot be affected by the ability more than once in the same phase. Then fortified position. At the start of the battle, this unit is in a fortified position. In addition, at the end of your movement phase, if this unit both remain stationary and was not set up in that phase, it can establish a fortified position. Once this unit is in a fortified position, it remains so until it moves or is removed from the battlefield. While the unit is in a fortified position, you can ignore negative modifiers to save rolls for attacks made by missile weapons that target it. Very, very cool. Yeah, so again, it feels like, this army is all about castling, shooting, but you want to move still though, right? So it feels kind of, there's a certain army that kind of plays in a similar fashion. They have blue skin, and yeah, it feels a bit like that. It feels, you can feel some cross-pollination between Age of Sigmar and 40k, Ironweld Great Cannon, 3-inch move, it can move. 8 wounds, 4 up save, 5 bravery. Great Cannon Cannonball, Great Cannon Armor Piercing Shell, Great Cannon Grape Shot, cool. And the melee weapons are tools and sidearms. The crew, units armed with tools and sidearms, shot and shell. Each time a model shoots with the Great Cannon, choose either the Cannonball, Armor Piercing Shell, or Grape Shot. Missile weapon characteristics for that shooting attack. The Cannonball and Armor Piercing Shot can only be chosen while the unit is in a fortified position. Interesting. And then the fortified position is the same rule for the Fusiliers and for the Major. The Cannonball and the Armor Piercing Shell are the same range, 24. Grape Shot is 12. It's 2 attacks, and 5 attacks for the Grape Shot. All hitting on 4s except the Grape Shot hitting on a 3. To wound, wounding on 2s. Grape Shot wounds on 3s. It's -2, -4, -1. D3 plus 2, D6, and then 2. So it's all depending on, situation, right? I mean, obviously Grape Shot is for when, hordes of dudes are coming after you. Then we get into the Steam Tank Commanders and the Steam Tanks. I think these are fairly familiar for everybody. The Wilder Court Hunters. I like this unit. This is probably like my favorite unit in this army. And yeah, I may have to pick up a unit of these guys. Move is 5 inches, only have 1 wound, 5 up save, 5 bravery. They have crossbows and arbalest. Melee weapons are hunting weapons and ferocious bite. Do the guys have the ferocious bite? No, this is the unit with the doggies, man. This is the doggy unit, so. Wilder Corp Warden. 1 in every 11 models in this unit must be Wilder Corp Warden. That model is armed with a ferocious bite. In addition to other weapons, Wilder Corp Wardens can issue commands to their own unit. What? The Wilder Corp Warden has the ferocious bite? I was just making a joke. I didn't know he actually had a bite. So like your leader of the unit is gonna bite people? He's running around biting people? Like, who is this madman? Trailhounds. 4 in every 11 models in this unit must be a trailhound. Each of these models is armed with a ferocious bite instead of any other weapons. Well, what are they gonna do? Put a blunderbuss on the back of a dog? You know what? There should be blunderbusses on the back of the dogs. Anyway, Arbalester. 1 in every 11 models in this unit must be an Arbalester. That model's armed with the hunting arbalest instead of the hunting crossbow. Expert trackers. After deployment, but before the first battle round begins, the unit can make a normal move. It cannot run. Hidden and dangerous. This unit is not visible to enemy units while it is in cover or while it is more than 12 inches away from them. In addition, improve the rend characteristic of this unit's missile weapons by 1 while it is in cover. And their crossbow, the regular crossbow, already has a -1. So they're going to be -2. And the arbalest is a -2 already. Oof. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like this unit. They just look cool. I have no idea how well they're going to perform on the tabletop. I'm not really concerned with that. They just look cool. Heskel Hexbane and Hexbane's Hunters. I do believe this is we first saw this warband in Warhammer Underworlds. I don't know if they have Warcry rules for this warband, but here they are in the Cities of Sigmar. Galen Vendenst and Dorelia Vendenst. Very, very cool. Got their Warscrolls for all these characters. Or is this for the whole warband? It might be for the whole warband. And then we get into the Dwarden. We have the Warden King, Rune Lord, Longbeards, and Hammerers. Iron Drakes. Oh, they're fun. Iron Breakers. Cogsmith. He's cool. That's a cool looking model. I'm not familiar with that model. Is that a new model? I don't know. Then we have the Gyrocopters, Gyro Bombers. Very, very cool. We get over into the Elves. We have the Sorceress on Black Dragon. Very familiar looking model. Sorceress. Then we have the Black Guard. So these are like a lot of the Dark Elves. So Sylvaneth already have like their own thing. Fire Slayers already have their own thing. Carradon Overlords already have their thing, right? And so you're free to, like, you know, throw these into this army, which is very, very cool. And it also has these rules for these classic models as well, right? Until Old World comes rolling around, and then these guys will probably get phased out or something. I wouldn't be shocked. Bleak Swords and Executioners. And then we have the Dark Shards, the Dread Spears, the Dreadlord on Black Dragon, the War Hydra. I like that model, War Hydra. Drakespawn Chariots, Drakespawn Knights, Dark Riders, Assassins, Black Ark Fleet Masters, Black Ark Corsairs, Scourge Runner Chariots, and what is it? Caribdis? I know, I probably sound like I'm having a stroke as I try and read that, but yeah. And then page 159 has pitched battle profiles. It has your points values, unit sizes, battlefield role, and then notes. I'm not going to show any of that on here because, you know, I mean, I'm sure this is probably available online anyway, but. And then the last page, 160, is Cities of Sigmar, November 2023. And it has all, it has the other side of the profiles, or units, compositions, point values, and notes. Faction Cities of Sigmar is Allies, Daughters of Cain, Fire Slayers, Ideneth Deepkin, Carradon Overlords, Lumineth Realm Lords, Stormcast Eternals, Sylvaneth, except in a Greywater Fastness army. Because if you read the lore, they don't care for each other. But anyway, yeah, so that's it. That's 160 pages of the Cities of Sigmar. Hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed this video, found it somewhat informative. I know I titled these useless reviews, but you know, there's so much material out there, and you know, I mean, I really kind of more concerned myself with the lore, and as I was reading through the lore of these units and the situation, everything like that, I really kind of got into this army, and yeah, it immediately starts spawning all sorts of imagery as far as like how to paint them, coming up with my own color schemes, and you know, even using getting bits for conversion. Like it'd be even fun to use some, you know, some other bits from other collections, you know, to offset these models. And yeah, there's really, really cool, especially anybody who still has like any old Bretonnian armies, men at arms. Oh yeah, right in here for sure. Why not, right? But yeah, so big thank you to Games Workshop for sending me a review copy of this box set and this limited edition Cities of Sigmar Battletome. I almost said Codex. Big thank you to my patrons. Without your support, these videos are not possible. And so a huge, huge thank you to all my patrons out there for their continued support, and all you brand new ones as well. There's also memberships here on YouTube, so feel free to click the link down below. Click whatever makes sense to you on Patreon or memberships, you know, whatever. If you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, thumbing up the video, liking, following, subscribing, commenting, ringing the bell, all of that helps as well. And all it takes is a couple clicks of a button and you're helping me out a great deal. And a huge, huge thank you to everybody who takes the time to do that. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you in the next useless review or unboxing or painting tutorial. Maybe a live stream. Maybe even a battle report. Huh? I'll never get this army done in time for a battle report in this lifetime, but I'm going to try. I have my own idea for a color scheme. I'm thinking of a blue-white. Hopefully, by the time this goes up, I'll have maybe a video ready demonstrating. And yeah, because I'm thinking, as of recording of this video, I'm thinking I'm going to put together the Field Marshal. And I'm going to do a little video on him. And I'm going to make up my own. I'm not going to follow one of the free cities, although I think one of the beauty things about creating your own free city, like creating your own color scheme, is that if you want to play using, Hammerhall or, Misthaven or whatever, you can. You can just say, oh, this is Misthaven faction, right? And it's a different color scheme for them. Because it says in the rule, like in the book for the lore, that some of the, like Hammerhall has, like for its own faction, like officially, there are 2 different color schemes for them. And you can just say, yeah, it's a different color scheme. But they're that faction, just different division or different crusade, right? Because there's many crusades coming out from the cities. So you can make up whatever you want, right? And I really, really enjoy that. And I like the flexibility of, having the lore there support your own ideas as far as how you want to go about painting something. And I think that's really, really fantastic. So don't be afraid to make up your own color schemes for anybody out there who's picking up this faction and going to start working on some heroes of the mortal realms. And this truly is a faction of heroes because they're just lowly little humans. They're just lowly little humans just trying to make their way in the universe, in the realms. And, they aren't reforged. They aren't spawned out of pools. They aren't, born in lava or whatever, right? I mean, they're just humans. They're just humans. They're just trying to get by. And, it's easy to empathize with this faction because they're just humans, right? Fighting against orcs. Like, even just as a regular human, can you imagine facing an orc? That's scary. That's like wandering out and facing a whole army of gorillas, green gorillas running at you and screaming and wielding big chopper blades, and you know what I mean? Like it's a scary thing, and it's fun. It's fun, and I'm really, really glad that I got a chance to sit through and read this book for this video and kind of just provide some thoughts on this faction. I really enjoy it. I've been collecting Ideneth Deepkin for Age of Sigmar. And yeah, with this one now, and now with this and my Deepkin, yeah, I can mix and mingle. Mingles, man. Mingles. All right, this is really going off the rails now. I'll see you guys later.